为与会大众做宝贵的法语开示。
Now let's join our palms with great reverence, and together we are inviting His Holiness for precious Dharma teaching. Homage to the Venerable Mang Ling, to Master Sakya Dzogchen, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of the group practice today. Namo Amitabha Tathagata. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our guests of honor today, accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, producers for the Illuminating Your Heart of CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca, from the National Tsinghua University of Taiwan, the professor of the EE department, Dr. Wang, Dr. Zhuang, and Dr. Lin.
Good evening. 你好，大家好。你好，大家好。
How are you? How do you do? So this evening, we had the group practice of Amitabha Buddha as the main deity or Yidong. And as we know, we all know Amitabha Buddha. There is no need to provide the introduction because all the monks and nuns in greetings, or the Buddhists in greetings, they would join their palms and say Amitabha. But Amitabha has a secret meaning, and the meaning is infinite light and infinite life, infinite lifespan. So infinite light and infinite life. That's the secret meaning of Amitabha. And his Pure Land is the most beautiful of all Buddha lands, or all Pure Lands. And everyone always make the merit dedication to be reborn in the Western paradise of Amitabha Buddha, the most famous Buddha land and the most famous Buddha. Everyone knows about him. Many people may not know other Pure Lands, they just know the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha. There are many Buddha lands of other Buddhas, but people don't know about them. And when we incan or chant Amitabha Buddha, we should also incan or chant his two attendants. One is Lokaswara and the other is Mahastama. And the mantra of Amitabha is and Kuan Yin. That's the mantra for Kuan Yin. And for Mahastama, the mantra
就是这个西方三圣他们的心咒。
So those were the mantras for Amitabha Buddha, Guan Yin Lokesvara, and Mahastama.
像净土中的念佛法，完全就是
And the Pure Land sect, or the Amitabha,
就是持名念佛，很多人都修这个法，这是这个。
So a lot of people practice this Dharma practice, which is very easy.
每天念，出门的时候念10念法，就是吸口
That
气，一直念
every time
到
we leave,
然后再吸口气，一直在念到呼气。
you would recite it with one inhalation and one exhalation. So when you incant it 10 times, then you can leave the house.
有所谓的持名念佛，是一般净土讲究的持名念佛。
So there's
南无阿弥陀佛。
there's a school that you just recite the name of the Buddha, like Namo Amitabha. It's very simple.
阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，就是4日阿弥陀佛。那么也有6日的南无阿弥陀佛。
So that's the 4-syllable Amitabha, and this is the 6th syllable.
南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，就是6字的，也有4字。
That's the 6-syllable
不
Amitabha,
管怎么念。
or the 4-syllable Amitabha.
南无阿弥陀佛，这也是一种念法。
That's also a way to
这
chant
种念法
Amitabha.
就是不太一样。
There are many different ways.
只要属于你哪一种念佛，你就念哪一种。你喜欢哪一种？
You can recite or you can chant whichever that you like.
观念南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，这是10念法。这一口气念了10遍，再放一口气，再念10遍。
So you recite 10 times, and then you take another breath and you recite another 10 times. So there are many different ways.
观相，你这个阿弥陀佛，我平时在跟大家在外面念佛绕佛的时候，
So when I was circumambulating and chant Amitabha Buddha, I would visualize Amitabha to be as tall as the pine tree, or even taller than the pine tree, as tall as the sky.
阿弥陀佛，就想念
Amitabha is tall as the sky. You think of him that way in front of you,
一路想念，
and as you are walking and circumambulating, you are mindful of Amitabha.
来念这个。但在寺念，在大雄宝殿里面念佛就不一样。
So when we circumambulate inside the temple hall, it's different. I don't think of him to be that tall,
阿弥陀佛
going through the ceiling. Amitabha becomes as small as
金
this,
色的，放光
in golden
手上
color,
一样是金色的
radiating light.
一只手
And his hands,
一只手是
one hand is holding a lotus,
这么
and
小
the other one is
就放在我的这脑海的胸前。
it's a bestowing mudra.
上
And Amitabha Buddha is right here in front of me,
那
in the
我
upper
就
dantian,
那个
in the brow
佛
point.
就想念
And as I walk and circumambulate, I'm mindful of the Amitabha Buddha that's that small.
非常
So you could have him as big as the sky, or shrink him to be as small as this half-inch tall, right in front of your brow chakra. And as you are chanting Amitabha, you're mindful of this Amitabha on your brow point. So you would feel differently. So Grandmaster would know if Amitabha is here or not. So every time we chant Amitabha Buddha, whether inside the temple hall or outdoor, Amitabha Buddha would definitely come. So that's the sign of spiritual practice, spiritual response. And when you have the spiritual response, you're guaranteed to be reborn in the Pure Land. You know that He's right in front of you, that you become Amitabha Buddha. So as you walk, you chant Amitabha Buddha, and you are also Amitabha Buddha, reciting Amitabha Buddha. That's the signs of spiritual response. So when you have gained spiritual response, as you leave the Saha world at the time of death, you wholeheartedly think of Amitabha Buddha, and naturally Amitabha Buddha would come and pick you up and guide you, because you're always together with Him. So when at the time of death, He will not abandon you, because He always appears during normal times, especially at the time of death. He would unite with you and merge with you and guide you to the Western paradise. So Amitabha Buddha is really great. So once you gain spiritual response, He would never abandon you, and you're guaranteed to be reborn in the Pure Land. So once you gain spiritual response with your yidam, then you are guaranteed to go to the Pure Land. Otherwise, you don't know whether the yidam come or not. Grandmaster never bought lotteries. Why? You know, you can ask Amitabha Buddha to give you hints of the numbers, 6 numbers, right? Lottery ticket, 6 numbers? In America, there's 6 numbers. That He would tell you what the numbers are. Please tell me. Then I would choose by myself, not by computer, but I choose by myself 6 numbers that were guided to me. Then I would win the lottery. Then there would be lots of benefits, that you would be able to help lots of people, all the temples, charitable work. And Grandmaster has gained spiritual response with Golden Mother, and Golden Mother could tell you the numbers. But Grandmaster has no such faith. So I don't want to force it. One day I did ask, and then in the dream I saw a screen, and inside it there are 6 numbers. There were 6 numbers, but I don't remember numbers very well. I'm not very good at math and not a good memory. And after I saw it, I tried to remember them. And then quickly I woke up. Immediately I took a pen and I remembered 3 numbers and forgot the other 3. So I wrote down those 3, and the other 3 I forgot. And I tried to see again, but I didn't. They're gone, because it's not in my destiny to win such lottery. So I just follow my destiny. And Lian Hua So Mai won 55 million US dollars lottery. Lian Hua So Mai. So prior to buying that lottery tickets, a few nights before, he dreamt of many Buddhas radiating light upon him. And he dreamt of Grandmaster and told him that you will win the lottery. And he spent about $5 to buy the lottery tickets. Were the numbers generated by computer? Yes. And sure enough, he was confident that he would win. And when they made the announcement, the husband was sleeping. And they said, well, because we bought lottery tickets, why don't we check on it? And the wife did check and told him that we really won. And they jumped. He jumped off the bed and they hugged each other and dancing and jumping, like going crazy because they won the lottery. So if you want to win a lottery, and if you see a Buddha or Buddhas and Bodhisattvas radiating light upon you, or the Buddha or Bodhisattva tells you that you're going to win the lottery, then you'll buy. Then you don't waste your money. If you buy every day and you ask for blessings from Grandmaster, of course Grandmaster would bless everything that you ask. But because the Yidam did not bless you, you practice Yidam, the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas don't radiate light upon you or didn't tell you that you will win the lottery, then you would win. But if the Buddha or Bodhisattva tells you, then you will win, then you can go and buy. Otherwise, you're just wasting money. How much is it now for a piece of ticket? $1? $1 a piece. So, once you gain spiritual response, you would have lots of good signs. At least you are guaranteed to go to the Pure Lands. That the Buddhas, the Yidams, the protectors will never abandon you, and the root Guru will never abandon you. So when I chant Amitabha Buddha, I'm aware that Amitabha Buddha descends, and he's right here at the brow point, a very small one, but radiating a huge, great radiance. And in the future, you could also do that and then go to the Pure Land. It's very simple. And today we will continue to talk about the Great Perfection Dharma. But first, let's share a joke. The wife fought with the husband, and the wife was really upset and said, I don't want to live, and I want to stop my life. My life is hopeless, and it's completely dark. And the husband told her, there's still hope in life. And the wife, with the teary eyes, turned her head and asked, what hope? And the husband replied, there's a 70% off at the boutique, the clothing shop next door. So there's hope in life. So if you chant Amitabha Buddha until you gain spiritual response, or when you practice Amitabha until you gain spiritual response, you have hope to go to the Pure Land. You never argue with Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha will never argue with you because there's no use to argue with him. Why? Because we don't know whether he heard it or not, so there's no need to bother him. That it is right if you just chant him, be mindful of him, and do his practice, and then one day, eventually, he would appear in front of you, and you gain spiritual response, and you would know yourself. Now on the Great Perfection Dharma. Someone asked me about the Great Perfection Dharma. Grandmaster, you have talked about the Great Perfection Dharma, so what empowerments are related to the Great Perfection Dharma? Actually, the empowerments for Great Perfection are not too different, but there are 2 points that are rather important. There are 2 important empowerments that will be conferred upon you in the future. In Tantrayana, there were 4 levels of empowerments. There are 4 stages of empowerments. The first level is called the vase empowerment. So use the vase, the empowerment vase. And the second kind of empowerment is for inner practices. So you need to use the red and white flowers. And you have to make the offerings of many white and red flowers. But you only eat 1 petal of the red flower and 1 petal of the white flower. And the red flower represents the red body, and the white flower, the white body. That's to start the inner practices. But these days, before you gain spiritual response, you could start your inner practices. So you do the practice of Yidam, Root Guru, and the inner practices together at the same time, simultaneously. So that was the second empowerment. And the third empowerment is the touch empowerment. That's for the highest Yoga Tantra. That's after you gain fruition in the inner practices and you already comprehend the empty nature, non-leaking inner fire light drops. And you are about there. And when you reach the highest Yoga Tantra, that's called touch empowerment, and it has to be conferred upon 2 people together. So a couple, husband and wife, or a spiritual company, then you would be conferred the touch empowerment. And then we use pen for that empowerment. In this modern time, in the ancient time, not a pen. We don't use pen. So we use the red mineral paint to touch. That's the 3rd level empowerment. And the 4th level empowerment, that's the empowerments for Great Perfection Dharma. Actually, there are all different kinds of Great Perfection Dharma. For example, the accumulation of lights, that's the empowerment for Great Perfection. But there are many of them, but among them there are 2 that are important. When the time has come, Grandmaster will confer these empowerments. One is the 5 Buddhas, 5 Buddha crown empowerment. And Grandmaster at the Master Sakya Tsengkung received this empowerment. So here at the brow point, Vairocana Buddha, at the throat, Amitabha Buddha, at the heart chakra, Akshobhya Buddha, at the navel chakra, Ratnasambhava Buddha, and at the secret chakra, Amoghasiddhi Buddha, and 4 limbs, 2 arms and 2 legs are the Amoghasiddhi Buddha. So this is touch empowerment. Touch here, here, heart chakra, navel chakra, secret chakra, and the 4 limbs. But that's rather troublesome. But to avoid sexual harassment, because if you touch, say here on the heart chakra, for the 5 Buddha crown empowerment, for Akshobhya Buddha, you need to touch there, then that would be at the bust line, cleavage area. So using the 5 Buddha banner, then point to your chest area. That means the 5 Buddha empowerment. So for these Vajra masters, you cannot say that. Grandmaster said that at the secret chakra, it's the Amoghasiddhi Buddha, and then, oh no, you could only use a remote using the 5 Buddha banner and slightly touch it. And here, Vairocana Buddha at the brow point with the Buddha Mother, at the throat chakra, Amitabha Buddha and his Buddha Mother, and at the heart chakra, Akshobhya Buddha and his Buddha Mother, at the navel chakra, Ratnasambhava Buddha and his Buddha Mother, and secret chakra and the 4 limbs are the Amoghasiddhi Buddha and his Buddha Mother. So at this time, you visualize the Buddha Father and Buddha Mother together, and the nectar that's emitted by the Buddha Fathers and Buddha Mothers at the head, throat, heart, navel, secret, and the 4 limbs are filled with the nectar of the 5 Buddhas. And after the empowerment, it's very cool and refreshing and fill your whole body, and to eliminate all your karma through the skin pores as the black thing. So this is the 5 Buddha crown empowerment, and you would be taught how to visualize the 5 Buddhas and the 5 Buddha mothers, and the nectar that they emit would fill your whole body and to eliminate all your impurities, to purify the impurities of the body, speech, and mind, and the impurities of the chi channels and light drops. This is one of the important empowerments of the Great Perfection. So you will be taught the mantras, the mudras, and the visualization of the 5 Buddhas. So this is a very important empowerment to practice the Great Perfection Dharma. Now let's check what joke we have. There's a couple that don't get along well, and the husband always thinks of divorcing her and marrying another one. And the wife warned him, if you change your heart, I will poison you. And the husband said, before you poison me, tell me, I will write a will that the judge will not sentence you to a life prison. And the wife was very grateful that we have been married at least a day, so thank you. And the husband said, oh, no, no, no. I'm just afraid that if the judge sentenced you to death, then you would become a ghost and continue to follow me. So they really hate each other. So when we do the practice of the 5 Buddhas, 5 Buddha crown, that we are very close to the 5 Buddhas. So the 5 Buddhas, the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, are the second lineage guru of Great Perfection Dharma. So when you perform the Great Perfection Dharma practice, you want to be very close to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. And you're always together once you receive the empowerment. You're never separate. You're inseparable. So, also inseparable. We are inseparable to our root guru, yidam, and protector. We cannot argue or fight with our protector or guru or yidam. Yeah, if you fight with your yidam, that's the end of it. That would be really troublesome. If the yidam ignores you, then in this life you would never gain spiritual response. If protector ignores you, you should forget about gaining spiritual response. If you fight with your root guru, or if you reason with your guru, never reason with your root guru, because that would be fighting or arguing. So you have your own reasonings, and I have my own reasonings. But if you reason with your root guru, that would be problematic, because it's best not to reason, because there are no reasonings to reason about. Say if you reason with your husband, then that's the start of an argument. And if a husband reasons with his wife, how could you reason with a wife? You could only listen to her. It's not a good idea to reason. Never reason with your guru, with your boss, because if you do, the boss would lay you off. Definitely not. You cannot reason with the government. And then the government would tap your phone. So it's best not to reason with anyone, not with your supervisors or your root guru or the yidam or the protectors. Then in the past, when we were in the military, what is the mission of the military man? Is obey. So whatever command is given, then we just obey. There's no room to reason. And now the second empowerment. This second empowerment is even more important. It's even bigger. So the empowerment of Adi Buddha. And that's the primordial Buddha. So the empowerment of Samantabhadra Tathagata. So that's the first lineage patriarch of Great Perfection Dharma, is the Buddha of the 16th ground, Adi Buddha, Samantabhadra. And Vairocana Buddha is the Buddha of the 13th ground. So Adi Buddha is the greatest Buddha. So What is the empowerment? It's the same. So Adi Buddha, Buddha Father and Buddha Mother on your brow chakra and on your throat chakra, also Adi Buddha, Buddha Father and Buddha Mother. And on your heart chakra, there's also the Adi Buddha and Buddha Father and Mother. And it's the same on the navel chakra and on the secret chakra and on the four limbs. Because when this Buddha appears, then all the Buddhas would become the Yidam. So he represents all the Buddhas. So visualize that on the Adi Buddha, Buddha Father and Mother, on your brow point, on your throat chakra, on the heart chakra, on the navel chakra, and on the secret chakra, and on the four limbs. They are all the same. That's the mantra. Om Pecha Atta Ama Soha. And the mudra is the mudra of Vairocana Buddha, the same mudra. So the 5 Dhyani Buddhas represent the 5 wisdoms, and combined together it's Adi Buddha, and that is also Vairocana Buddha. 5 wisdoms on this mudra. So the 5 fingers fist mudra. So his look, he is blue, and the Buddha Mother is white. When you have his look and his mudra and mantra, you receive the empowerment, the greatest empowerment of the great perfection Dharma. That's the tangible or empowerment that has form, but they are also the intangible or formless empowerment. So these days our empowerments are quite convenient, quite haphazard, because I make it easy for everyone, but everyone take it for granted. Say they offered $100 and asking for 100 empowerments. So they asked for 100 empowerments for $100. So $1 for a deity. And in a moment he got 100 empowerments. That's to make it easy for everyone, but everyone take it for granted. And they want so many of them, but do you practice them? Of these 100 deities, which ones do you practice? It is already incredible if you practice one deity, and you should just focus on that one deity. There are no needs to get remote empowerment for the other 99 deities. Instead, you could buy some offering and maybe make an offering of red envelope. So empowerments are no jokes. In the past, in Tibet, say for Amitabha Buddha empowerment, because today we practice Amitabha Buddha, so in this empowerment vase, before conferring Amitabha empowerment, the Guru needs to do the practice of Amitabha Buddha and the empowerment vase in front of you, and you see Amitabha Buddha or his spiritual light entered into this empowerment vase, and Amitabha's nectar is truly inside the vase. And then you touch it to your crown. You hold the vase. So you do the practice, recite Amitabha mantra, and you felt that Amitabha Buddha, you know that Amitabha Buddha entered into the empowerment vase. Only then you are qualified to confer the empowerment of Amitabha. Otherwise, if I am to give Amitabha empowerment and I don't do the practice, and you also don't do the practice of Amitabha, and we don't invoke Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha did not enter into the vase, and I give you this water, then there's no benefits at all. That's called like plain water empowerment. Not hot water, just water. It's no use at all. First, you need to touch it to your crown, and you're sure that Yedidam has come and entered into the vase. Then only then it works. That in Tibet, you have to recite Amitabha Sutra for 7 days and nights at least. Say tomorrow for Homa, we would do Om Mariji Soha. It's Mariji empowerment, and there will be empowerment. So at least we had the Mariji Homa and had invoked Mariji Bodhisattva, and to invite her to enter into my heart, and then to empower the empowerment banners. Then I could perform or confer the empowerments for everyone. But if you do the Homa of Mariji, but Mariji did not come, and yet you confer the empowerment of Mariji, then the master had a trespassing and had breached the, and then the person who received the empowerments also have trespassed. That's also a problem. That's why in Tibet, prior to empowerment, they have to build a Shen mandala, say for Kalachakra, and then they recite Kalachakra Sutra, and invoking Kalachakra to descend upon the Shen mandala. And then asking the disciples to enter into the Kalachakra altar to receive the empowerments from the Guru. Only then it would be considered an empowerment. They have to recite Kalachakra Sutra for at least 7 days. They are very strict. But for us these days, you carry a red envelope and just walk by, following the rhythm, and just walking by, and that's empowerment. But in your heart and in your mind, you would have to know. You have to form Kalachakra Mudra and recite Kalachakra mantra. You cannot do it like this. Like you do it as you just hop and dance around. You have to be mindful completely of Kalachakra and how he looks. So body, speech and mind are on the Kalachakra. This represents the body, the mantra represents the speech, and the visualization represents his look. So that body, speech and mind represent Kalachakra as you walk by the empowerment banner. Only that time, only at this time, Kalachakra would empower you. Otherwise, if you just follow, you just walk by carrying a red envelope, and then you throw the red envelope to the basket, and it's like $1 or a coin, and a coin with a coin. They would make a cling. There's a $1 coin too in US dollar.
美金25 cent，5 cent，没有1块钱的有1块钱。
There's also a $1 coin.
不要弄响出来
A quarter.
这个人家就知道。
Don't make sound, because if it makes sound, then you know it's not much.
这个要慎重，就是说你。
So you need to be serious, and you need to take it seriously, and you have to do it with reverence, with respect, and you need to show it by presenting offerings. Say for empowerment, we have to make offerings. For the Herukas, Vajra protectors, you need to make offerings of alcohol and raw meat. And for Bodhisattvas, you can use flowers and fruits or crackers, cakes, things that you like. For Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you make offerings of what you like. And for the heavenly beings, also you make offerings of what they like. Then they would be pleased and descend and give you empowerment. So actually, it's not the root guru that confer the empowerment. It's the deity that descends and give you empowerment. So this is very important. So empowerments in Tantrayana is a very, very important point. It's a permission to start the practice of that Dharma. So after you receive the Great Perfection Dharma empowerment, then you are permitted to practice the Great Perfection Dharma. So Adi Buddha is the highest possible, and the 5 Dhyani Buddhas are the second. Adi Buddha is the topmost, first, and topmost, utmost Buddha. For Mahamudra, Great Perfection, all came from Adi Buddha. So Mahabudra of Kakyupa and the Great Perfection of Nyingmapa, they all have the same patriarch, the same founder, which is Adi Buddha. And first, Adi Buddha transmitted to 5 Dhyani Buddhas for Great Perfection. But for Mahamudra, Adi Buddha first transmitted to the precious mind youth, which is also lotus youth or Padmakumara. So that's why Padmakumara is the lineage patriarch for Amitabha, for Mahamudra. And Grandmaster had practiced Mahamudra, and they had 4 yugas: the one taste yoga, no practice yoga, renunciation yoga, and the no practice yoga. This is actually the same as Great Perfection. So concentration, abandoning one taste, and no practice. So when you reach the Great Perfection Dharma, that's the no practice yoga. So when you receive the empowerments, it is best if you have signs of empowerment. But if you don't have the signs, it's okay too. You can do the practice until you get the signs. There are some who, when they receive empowerments for the very first time, you have the sign, which is seeing the empty, like, circle of light. It's round and white, whitish and radiant. It's called the prajna light. And then if you zoom it in, magnify it, it's like a mandala. and at the center there's the deity
你看到的光是明
inside.
点空光，也就是
So that's called the empty or the hollow light of the light drop, and that's also called the prajna light, and that is also the altar of a yidam that's
非
round.
常漂亮的，照到波月光。
It's very beautiful. Those who have taken picture of the prajna light, please raise your hands. They're white and round. Many
很多
have
人拍照的时候
taken
拍到，
pictures
尤
of
其在
those
受法会的时候，
that they're caught in
好多的
photos,
光
especially during ceremonies. There are many, many of these lights. There are many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas
有天神，
descending,
那么也有
some belonging to the heavenly beings, and some spirits and ghosts too,
啊，尤其你在做超度的时候啊，
especially when you perform bardu deliverance.
做
the
东
pictures
小小的
that's being
像
caught,
雾一样的，
and they're very tiny and like
很多
mist, then that's the lights of the spirits and ghosts.
以前我记得图登达尔上师
I remember in the past, Master Thupten Dorji gave me a ball of crystal,
啊
a crystal ball,
这个水晶球给你，
and he said, Grandmaster Lu, this crystal ball is for you.
我家里有好
And
多
I said, what's this for? I have many crystal balls already, some this big,
别的颜色的水晶球，白色的
different color,
他
white.
跟我讲，你不知道啊，这个水
And
晶
he
球是个
said,
明点空光的代表，
You don't know that this crystal ball
师父给你
is a
一个
symbol of the hollow light of
用
the
水
light
晶球
drops.
给你加持，给你暗示，
So your
就是叫
guru
你看
give
明
you
点
a
空光
crystal ball and to empower you and to bless
刚
you
刚我在
is
这
to
边修
teach
法
you
的
to
时候
see the hollow light of the light drops.
彩
When we
虹
did the practice, you know what I saw? Rainbow.
啊，我经常啊，因为就刚刚入定啊，入三昧地，
When we entered into Samadhi earlier, I closed my
下
eyes
保平器，静下来，
and I did a few treasuries energy yoga
看
and
到了彩虹，
settled down and I
眼
saw
前就有彩
rainbow
虹
right in front of me.
哇，这个就是一种象，一种象。
So this
你
a
看到
sign.
第二种的万象就是彩虹。
So
大
the
圆满
second
四
sign,
万象
there are 4 signs of great perfection.
啊，夫妻两个人吃饭的时候，妻子讲：“你
That's
现在
the
怎么
second
老是
sign.
挑鱼身上做多的地方吃？
The visual
记得我
sign.
们谈恋爱的时候，你都只吃鱼头跟鱼尾，鱼身都留给我。”丈夫说：“现在情况不同了吗？”
And
现在我是在
the wife
吃
told the husband
当时
that
我是在钓鱼
that you always eat the head and the tail of the fish and you let me eat all the meat. But now it's different after marriage, after wedding. And the husband said, oh, well, because before marriage I was fishing and not now.
就代表结
So once you receive the empowerment, that means you're married to this deity.
你跟这一尊结婚，
So you're married to this deity.
结婚前你什么都没有看
And
到，
before marriage, you don't see
你
anything.
灌了顶，
After you receive the empowerment for great perfection Dharma, if you have the empowerment
可以
sign,
看到彩
or after you practice,
虹
and you would be able to see a rainbow
这
light.
是好的
It's
观象
very
表示
good
说
sign.
你在修行当中，你可以看到明点空光，
That in your spiritual practice,
都是
you
好
would
的
be
现
able
象
to see
象
the
征着
hollow
你
light of the light
修这个
drops
法
or
会
the
有
rainbow light. That means you would be able to have
如果你
attainments
灌
in
这一
this
尊
practice.
你有了
If you
观想
receive an
那表示
empowerment of a
修这一尊
deity
绝对是对的
and you have this
绝对就是对的
sign,
修这
then
个法
it
绝
is
对就是
correct
对的
for you to do this practice or to practice this deity.
努力地修
Even if you don't have sign, it's okay. And you still practice diligently, then you would have sign.
绝对对的
And once you see the
这一
sign,
尊就绝对
then
是
you
对的
are definite that this is your yidam
观
or
象有很
deity.
多种
there are many different signs, 7 visual signs, and now we're talking about the 4 different visual signs of great perfection. Or when you close your eyes, you saw sunlight. You saw the sunlight. You saw the sun. That means you definitely will succeed in your great perfection Dharma. Or after you receive the empowerment, you see a moon or the moonlight, a moon radiating light. That means it is correct that you do this practice because you see this visual sign. And next is the appearance of the 5-colored light of the earth, water, fire, wind, and space. 5 different colors. So if you have received the empowerment of the Kuan Yin, Lokeswara, body, mandala empowerment, when you do that practice, first you visualize the light of the earth, water, of the fire, wind, and then Kuan Yin, the appearance. Because the space has no color, so you only visualize the 4 colors of the 4 elements of the earth, water, fire, and wind appear in front of you. That's also a good sign. Visualize. When you close your eyes, after you receive the empowerment, and you see, now, Grandmaster, even without empowerment, I could see the hollow light of light drops lined up together very, very long. And the whole plane is filled with the hollow light of the light drops. You definitely could see it when you do the practice of great perfection. After receiving the 5 Buddha crown empowerment or the Adi Buddha empowerment, you would be able to see these 4 different signs. So what's the color of the earth element? Yellow. Water? Green. And fire? Red. And the wind? Blue. So when you see these 4 colors appearing, or you only see 1 color, so earth, water, fire, and wind, and all the 4 colors appear, then that means it's correct for you to do the practice. And it's also good to see rainbow. That means it is accurate, it is proper for you to do this practice. Like when I just close my eyes, all is the hollow lights of the light drops. That means it is correct to do the great perfection practice. Or if you see the sunlight or moonlight, that means it is proper for you to do the great perfection Dharma, and you would have attainments in this practice. And those who will not succeed, they only see darkness when they close their eyes. Oh no, that would be bad. There is a young man climbing a mountain and have no water, and met a Zen master deep in the mountain. And then he hurriedly asked, "I'm ugly, what should I do?" And the Zen master replied, "If you're ugly, you should be like me." Which means that means you live in serenity in the mountain? No, but you hide deep in the mountain. This is not so funny, but let me tell you, if you want to cultivate spiritually, say in Mahamudra first is concentration, yoga of concentration. So you need to go into retreat, abandoning the mundane. Second, that need you to go deep into the mountain, into the retreat. And in one taste yoga, you can leave the mountain because you already gained spiritual response with the yidam. You can come down the mountain to help sentient beings. You can live among the people to gradually deliver sentient beings. Grandmaster also did retreats. First, when I just got to America, in the spiritual attic, I was in retreat. And also when I live in seclusion, other than eating, I would eat out because I don't know how to cook. Other than that, I just stayed in my room. And Master Lien Ji was my attendant, and he also does not know how to cook. So both of us would eat out at the self-serve restaurant. It's only like $1.50 US each time. So I lost 20 kilograms. I was living in seclusion for 3.5 years in Taiwan, and when I returned to the States, I lost 20 kilograms. That's a lot of meat. That's very... So, how much did I weigh then? Really bad. I don't remember how many pounds. I lost 20 pounds because I ate every time only $1.50 meal. And we ate a bowl of white rice. It's like a self-serve, it's like a big pot of soup. And it's the same soup for everyone. A small bowl of soup, a little bit of meat, a small piece of meat, a little bit of vegetables, or maybe egg. That's it. So every meal like that. So I lost 20 kilograms. That's about 44 pounds. So 50 NT dollars. At that time, we could buy a box meal. Now probably 100. But nowadays, for $50, maybe mostly just rice, not much dish. At that time, if you want to add another bowl of rice, we have to pay maybe $5. This is self-serve, not all you can eat. You take something, and that's about $50. So you need to go in retreat to focus, and it is best to abandon. You don't hear anything, you don't see anything, then you focus. So in the concentration yoga, you have to be in seclusion, and then abandoning the mundane, you have to go into the mountain. And the one taste yoga, you can come down the mountain and start delivering sentient beings. And the no practice yoga, then you're more incredible. Then no practice is the same as the practice. That's quite close to great perfection, but there are also some differences. And in the Great Perfection Dharma, you need to see these 4 signs appearing. And if you see all those 4 signs, then it's definitely correct for you to do the practice. And then when you start doing the accumulating of the lights practice, the light accumulation practice, then you would have attainment. This can only be understood by the Mandarin speaking people, so I will not translate this. There's an 80-year-old man that has a very strong body, and being asked the secret to health, he said, whenever my wife starts an argument, I would go outside and walk. But this past 50 years, every day I have to go out and walk. That's why he's healthy. This is a good way. So every time your wife starts an argument, you just go for a walk. And don't know where to go, but by going for a walk, he became very healthy. Because for the elderly, the best exercise is walking. Yeah, for the elderly people. The doctor uses stethoscope to listen to the heartbeats of a beautiful girl. And when the stethoscope touched the breast of the lady, he gazed at the bust line. And after a while, the lady asked the doctor, "What are you checking me?" And the doctor felt that he was gazing at the girl's bust. He said, "Oh, I'm listening to your heartbeat very carefully." And the girl asked, "You have supernatural power?" And the doctor said, "No, I don't have." And the beautiful lady asked, "Then why don't you place the listener into your ears?" So that's the concentration yoga. So that's how you should concentrate? No, of course not. You have to be in retreat and focus on the deity, and you need to visualize correctly, and you don't think of any other thing. But the doctor was also practicing the concentration yoga, but he focuses on the wrong thing. There was a lady sitting on a dining table, and across from her is a man, and they're dining on beef noodle soup. And the man did not eat and continued to gaze at the bust line of the girl. And she was wearing a necklace with the pendant of an airplane. So the lady asked the man,
我这个项链的飞机吗？
Or are you admiring the plane
其实我就是欣
on
赏
my
熊
necklace?
的这个
And the
飞机的
man
这个
replied
项链
seriously,
我是欣赏
no, not the
飞机
plane, but the airport, but the, what's that called?
这个是专一啊，但是这个
The
专一也
runway.
是专一错了。我们学佛的
So
专一
that's also
唯一的专一
concentration, but
就是在你
focusing on the wrong
在修的
thing.
那一尊上面，专一
But
地
for
想念
us,
那一
our concentration should be on the
尊
deity that we
你想念它
practice.
它也会想念你。
And if you're mindful of the deity would be mindful of you. And you recite the mantra to touch his heart or her heart. Visualize him or her to touch his or her heart. And then form the mudras, then they would descend. So that's the concentration in practicing a deity. Om Mani Padme Hum.